So, are you a person out there that's being taught to hold your angles and to turn your body? Okay, I have some news for you that you might find very helpful. The problem is that if I make a good backswing position and I think about turning my hips or turning my shoulders or turning my torso, you can see the direction my hands are going, you can see where the club is. Club, at this point in a good downswing, should look about here, right about on line with the trail arm, not up here. So how does this shallowing actually work? Well, there's two components to it. One of it is partially a little side bend, which you can see is bringing it closer in line with that, but the real secret is right here. Now, from a more accurate down the line view, you can see that shaft is splitting my forearm. How did that happen? It happened by allowing my trail wrist and my trail arm to push like so. So it's extending. As it's extending, watch my palm. That's not my wrist doing that. That's my forearm, my radial bones of my forearm rotating. So I'm getting bigger radius to my swing, I'm getting more speed, and I have stability. This is controlling this, folks, not the other way around. So if I apply a wrist like Houlding at the top of the swing, which people would say would be fairly cupped, how do I go from cupped to bowed by impact in 3/4 of a second? This is the key. Remember Hogan in his book, if you read his book, he said, I wish I had 3 right hands. He wasn't saying it as accurately as he could have, although thinking about what our hands are doing is certainly easier than probably thinking about other things. But what he was really doing is applying a lot of force with his trail arm. He's really going ahead. And it feels through the hands like you're using your hands to do this. Fair enough. Either way, the point is that this extension is creating speed. Biomechanics, we learned that the greatest window for creating more speed in your swing actually happens in the first 30 or 40% of your downswing. So basically from here to here, that window. So if I'm holding those angles and I'm trying to turn my body, you can see how fast my hand is moving. Well, that's going to make the club move about the same speed, unless you dump it this way. Right? But here, watch. That's pretty quick. I'm not even sure the camera picked it up. The elbow's back in front of the body, the wrist is in a good position. From down the line, what am I doing? Back is turning the target, watch this. This is coming down. It's not trying to go forward, make the ball go to the target. I'm swinging down more across my midline as fast as I possibly can. I still have tons of lag, and the body goes into rotation at this point, accelerates more upper body, and you end up in this elusive, fantastic position with both wrists stable. Both wrists are working this way. The trail is pushing with this, not with the fingers this way. It's pushing here, like you're trying to block something that way. So extend, watch this thumb. If I extend the trail arm, see how that's turning? I don't have to try and manipulate the club. This is really, really difficult to do. First, it takes a ton of strength. Second, it's very inconsistent, the timing of it. You don't need to do that. But this is 100% consistent, I can assure you. I've seen 60 shots on a TrackMan, and the deviation isn't more than 1 degree. Normally, it's within half a degree. So, typical swing path of 2 degrees plus or minus will stay in a range of 1 to 2 degrees doing this. So that cleans up a lot of the problem. Then it's just a matter of adjusting the club face to match your grip and your physical configuration. But working on this from here and feeling the wrist go down, it's called ulnar. You can see the wrist here looks slightly bowed, doesn't it? And I match it up with this one, and I tell you right now that people would have a very, very difficult time bending my wrists and hands. This is super, super stable. If I'm like this, it's not so hard to bend. But if I extend into more ulnar, now this is really, really stable through impact. So you combine this forearm rotation with your hip and shoulder rotation, you have complete control of your club face. Any questions? Please PM me.